Story of how I turned my entire class against a bully after only being in school for a week. 3 things you need to know about this story for it to make sense. First, I had just moved to this school and it was not the beginning of the year, so I was the new kid. Second, as part of my IEP, in order to entice me to behave better, if I behaved well, I could get a prize at the end of the day. And this prize could range from anything from a piece of candy to a small toy. And one of the prizes I could get was a scoop of popcorn in the popcorn jar. Basically what that was is there was this jar that sat on a shelf in the classroom, and if the teacher thought we did something really awesome, like everyone got A's on a test, she would take a little scoop and she would scoop up some popcorn kernels from a bag, and she would dump them into this jar, and when the jar filled with popcorn kernels, we got a popcorn party. And so being the new kid and wanting the other kids to like me, at the end of the day when they asked me what I wanted for my prize, I would say I wanted a scoop of popcorn in the popcorn jar, and the kids would just go fucking wild for it, and we were only 3 scoops away from a popcorn party when this happened. The third being, I was raised by 2 actors. My mother and father were both actors, and I spent a lot of my days at a theater. So I knew how to do things like stage fighting and stage fainting and crying on cue. Now that you know all that, let's get into the story. This whole thing started at recess. I was outside, minding my business, playing in the wood chips. I was making little fairy houses with wood chips because I hadn't made any friends to play with yet, so fairy houses it was. And this bitch Daria, who I had been warned to stay away from because nobody liked her because she had a reputation for being a bully, comes over and stands in front of me in my little fairy house of wood chips. And I registered there were shoes in front of my wood chip house, so I kind of looked up and I was like, oh, hi, what can I do for you? And this bitch leans down and goes, you know, you should just go back to where you came from because nobody actually likes you and they all think you're really weird. They're only being nice to you because they want a popcorn party. You're not special. And I was just kind of oh, that's an opinion you have. Anything else I can do for you? No? Okay, I'm gonna go back to my wood chips. Thanks. And ignored her, and she just kind of walked away, feeling like she had accomplished something. But little did she know, I spent the entire rest of recess planning her demise. Social demise. I should clarify, social demise. I didn't kill her. I just made everybody like her a lot less than they had originally. But to know how I did that, you'll have to find out in part 2. Yeah, sorry. Well, 3-minute videos are substantially longer, they just simply aren't long enough to contain the entirety of my wrath. That time I turned my class against my bully, part 2. Anyways, Daria says that mean shit, and I'm like, that wasn't nice, and I go back to my wood chips, and I start plotting my revenge. Had I been any other kid, I might have just curled up and cried and accepted that I was weird and nobody would ever like me. But I had anger issues and far too much theater knowledge. So I didn't do that. I waited till there was about 5, maybe 10 minutes left of recess and got up and stuck my face in as many blooming plants as I could because I was allergic to pollen. And I wanted my face to be red and puffy, like I'd been crying. You see where this is going? Once I was nice and snotty, I went over and I grabbed some dirt and smeared it on my face. Then I reached up and fucked with my hair a bit. I was wearing these really cute pigtails that I decided to fuck with so it looked like my hair might have been pulled. And then I went over to the doors where the teachers were going to line up kids for, going in for recess. And I sat down and curled up against the doors and slumped my shoulders and just kind of looked down and looked sad and dejected. And as kids lined up and saw me looking pitiful, they were like, Adrian, what's wrong? What happened? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing happened. I'm okay, guys. You don't need to worry about me. I'm okay. And we all went inside. And I made a beeline to my desk and went and sat down and slumped my shoulders. And then I quivered my lip and sniffled. And then I put my head down in my arms and cried. And suddenly all the kids in class were on red alert because who fucking made the kid who gets us popcorn parties cry? Who did it? And some of the girls from the class came over and were like, Adrian, what's wrong? Why are you crying? And I was like, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. And they're like, it's okay. Just tell us what happened. Nobody will be in trouble. And I was like, well, Daria said that I should just go back to where I came from because nobody actually likes me and you all think I'm weird and you're just being nice to me so that I'll get you a popcorn party because I'm not special. And they were like, she said, what? And if you have never seen 20 middle schoolers turn to glare at somebody, it is a fucking experience. It's terrifying. Two of the girls who had come over to figure out what was wrong started hugging me and consoling me and trying to make me feel better. Some of the guys in the class were like, wow, Daria, real classy, great. You're such a jerk. And then the other girls who had come over to figure out what was wrong originally went and got the teacher. They were like, Miss Teacher, Daria's bullying Adrian. And Daria got detention. And that was the first day I didn't get a scoop of popcorn for the popcorn jar because Daria had been mean to me and I don't want to reward her, so I went and got some candy. And kids gave her shit for it like all week because of it. And then most of the kids in our class just didn't want to hang out with her because she was mean to me, and being mean to me jeopardized their popcorn party.